I'm actually curious. What got you into wrestling? I don't think I know this story. I've known you for like 3 years.
Right?
Now. I don't. Why?
I started watching wrestling when I was homeschooled. And
Oh, homeschool.
yeah, I was homeschooled for for a good while. And it was right at the beginning of like when YouTube first sort of like came out. And when it had like no copyright, like nothing was taken off of YouTube.
Yeah.
So I feel like I started watching wrestling weirdly because there's not really like an era or a time when I went into it. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of, I like had access to the internet and got everything at once. So it sort of just became
So you kind of discovered it in a way.
I don't even really know how. It was just when I was just alone for most of the time.
So you're just like, YouTube, videos, what can I find? So what was your first match? Like what was the first wrestling match you discovered on YouTube that made you say, I want to watch the next one?
I don't remember specifically what match, but I know for sure it was Rey Mysterio. I know I started with Rey Mysterio. And then I very specifically remember going from there into the Rey Mysterio storyline when he was fighting Eddie Guerrero for the custody of his son.
Quite the...
Which is a great start. I think mainly it was just me like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I need to keep watching it. And then, you know, from there, I definitely went into like watching ECW and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten like so much crap from people that have been like, I'll say how much I like ECW and things like that. They're like, you weren't even born then. You weren't even watching wrestling then. I'm like, well, I just kind of started watching all of it at once. So
yeah, and it's like, that's what the network is for. That's what YouTube is for. Exactly. You don't have to be a certain age to, it was before you're born. Okay, yes, Sherlock, I understand that, but I still watched it. And I could probably tell you more things about it than you can.
In this day and age, it's all so accessible that it's not like, I remember watching this on television. I watched this like from this point on. Like you can get all of it whenever you want.
There's little kids. Like I remember this one promotion. It was that baseball show one. We were still training, and Booker T was there, and I was helping him with his table, and we were talking.
I remember that.
We were talking, and this one little boy, he had to have been 10 or less, and he was telling Booker T about this one match he had way back when, and Booker T's like, I don't even remember that match, but great, kid, I'm happy you do. He's like, it's amazing how these kids, like, they literally watched season 1, episode 1, and then all the side sequels, and then until now.
Things that you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Dude, I have people, like, mention me, like, talk to me about things, and I'm like, I didn't remember that I did that. Like, I didn't know that video was obtainable online.
I never watched ECW or WCW.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I watched WWF, like, you know, during the Attitude Era, because my sister would watch it.
Yeah.
And then I asked way too many questions, and the one that did her in was when Triple H came out, and I said, why is he spitting on himself? And she's like, get out.
She's like, you have to leave.
You have to leave. I was like, but it's dumb. He's spitting on himself. She's like, leave. So I left. And then I got out of it, and then in college, I had friends that would watch it, and they're like, oh, come over for pay-per-views. And I saw that Kane was still on.
And you're like, oh,
that's
I remember
who I fell in love with. That I don't know what it was. He was the first wrestler I saw come out. And it was just like a love at first sight through the television. I don't know why. And then whenever I saw him when I was in college, I said, he's still wrestling? So then I was like, I have to watch it now. I have to like Kane. Really watch it.
I love how much you love Kane. I don't know why. It makes me laugh every time. I'm just like, the fact that Kane Arquette's just like, you know who I have a huge crush on? Kane.
I love him. I actually drew a picture of him, and I kept saying, like, I'm going to go to this show, and I'm going to hand it to him, and he's going to love it. Didn't happen.
What a handsome man.
What a handsome man. I thought his hair was real, everything. I was like, it's real.
Yeah. It's not.
No.
I think my first crush was Razor Ramon, which then led to me just liking hairy Italian men. I don't know. That's my type, I guess, is men that are just like,
hairy Italian men
that look like Razor Ramon.
That look like Razor Ramon.
Yep. This is who I go for now.
You know who he looks like? Gaston. I hate Gaston, so I do not like him. I'm like, he's too affiliated, looking like
really
Gaston.
tall Gaston. Like really tall, like thick Gaston.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
I love it. What a man.
They're making it fancy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Make it snow. See what I did there? I laughed at my own joke.
Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about when we got into wrestling, Honeybadger. What was it that got you to start being a fan of pro wrestling, even before you wanted to just like be a pro wrestler?
Like a wrestler. Was that Honey? I'll take that.
Yeah.
Thank you. For me, I think it was just, I grew up watching it with my brothers and these just people who were like larger than life, like the closest thing to like a superhero, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was just crazy, just like watching them, and I was always a bigger fan of the wrestlers who were like these like entities in themselves. Like I was always big for like Gangrel and The Undertaker and like just all these people that like had these big personas. Like they would like, I totally believe that, you know, this very tall man was like from Death Valley and he like controlled the powers of darkness. And
he controls lightning.
Yeah.
No one can tell me otherwise.
Exactly. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I get that. It's the closest you can be to being like a real life superhero for like, but it's different than that because it's on like a grander stage, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's.
I just like that you're staring me dead in the eyes, like, hey,
Shooken.
Shooken.
It needs shooken. Before. Would you like?
Well, they gave us like real silverware. This is.
I know. I picked it up. I was like, this isn't even plastic.
Oh, look, I put a small waffle at the bottom of a big waffle, and I got like a waffle carousel going.
Oh, see, I got a little plate. I got to do it one at a time. There'll be waffles and syrup everywhere. And see, I can't spread butter on waffles because it gets
I kind of messed it up too.
in one square.
I kind of messed it up.
Another horrible reason to have butter. You just need syrup.
Listen, I don't tell you how to live your life. I'd appreciate if you don't tell me how to butter and enjoy my waffle.
I'm not telling you how to butter. I'm just saying it's you can't butter it. But I have my own opinion. But I'm gonna say it anyway.
Listen, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. No, okay.
No.
It is very hard to butter waffles, though, but I will try my best.
Pancakes aren't too bad. Like, if you go somewhere and it just, it's sitting there, it's already melted, you just have to flip it onto the second one and it'll melt. And you have to
I don't even flip mine. I just, like, pick up the second one and just, like, smear it under there and hope for the best.
Yeah. I'll just eat them all in like one big pile and just be like,
any more steps that avoid food entering my mouth? I just try to like,
I get that.
Compensate.
It's like anytime I don't have to use silverware, I'm not going to use silverware.
You were eating it like a pizza earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it that much easier,
I made a Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich one time. That was
what?
Yeah, that was a day. It was like a wonderful day, but like a horrible morning.
Like a Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
stay.
Well, I mean, I was so elated from life that to me it was when you're okay, so like when you're high, like you're already like dropping stuff, like you don't care. It hits the floor and it's been there for like half an hour and you're like, oh yeah. It's like the extra fry.
Work.
Yeah,
It'll
it's like
work.
the extra fry in the fast food bag.
Yeah,
like when you find that extra fry, like you think they're all gone, and then you got one, and it's like
it's there.
I got a frozen fry one time.
Ew.
It was completely frozen. The rest of them were cooked, but for whatever reason, this
just
was
a single
frozen.
one.
And it was at the bottom.
That's weird. Somebody planted
Conspiracy
that.
theory.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't eat it.
I almost thought you were going to start doing the Addams Family theme,
And
I was like...
Wait, is it snaps or claps?
Snaps.
I almost fucked it up, and it came. And it came
I know.
back.
I saw you do that.
And you like,
start over so we get it right.
I will keep going.
Okay, fun question.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite match of all time?
Ooh. Oh, Lord.
I don't even know, so someone else has to go first.
I feel like my original answer for this question, I feel like it changes, like, depending on the mood or the, like, context of the question.
Mm-hmm.
But, I know that my original, always answer for it was the Undertaker and Mankind cage match.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah.
Just because of the emotional, like, investment in it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been so much more of a fan of the emotional investment of matches and the story.
Yeah.
I think about that much before I think of, like, athletics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what sets wrestling apart so much, is that you could just do gymnastics, but you can also tell a story and wear a cool costume doing it and be, like, a different person.
It's like being in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
like for 10 minutes. Like you are in your own movie.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
I tried to hold it in, but I was like, it's gonna make a noise. I shouldn't have.
And then it would have just,
And it would have just went
right into the mic.
Because I went like this, and I'm like, it's right there.
You're like, it's too late now.
Too late. I should have
It's
said
too
it.
late.
Sorry, that was a very
I loved it.
emotional response.
I would-
and I
And then just
totally-
ended with a burp.
You were
That's
just
why
so.
I love wrestling. It's just a whole nother.
Anyway.
I already don't have a memory, and then I'm like, what was my favorite match like before? Because it's like weird too. Because I have favorite matches that I watch now, but it's like more what I watch for tape. Like there's,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Or it's like I'm trying to think more.
You
like,
look at it differently.
yeah, you totally look
Absolutely.
at it differently, and I'm like trying to think more like what I watch, like what
As
I
a
watched
fan.
and was invested in, like you said, emotionally invested.
Mhm.
I was pretty emotionally invested in the Shane McMahon Big Show feud during like the SmackDown days. That and him and Boss Man's feud was like,
Yeah.
oh man, he showed up at his dad's funeral.
Oh,
and drove
man.
away with a casket attached to
Wait,
his
that was
car.
hilarious. Watching it back now is so funny. I love it.
There are some things I don't even want to watch back because I'm like,
What?
could never get away with this now.
Like I was saying, how one of my first memories of watching wrestling was when Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio fought for the custody of Rey Mysterio's son.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that was
I
like the
forgot about
first
that.
match that she watched.
What a good...
And she was invested after that.
And genuinely, I think I started watching pro wrestling from that point because I was more just like, why? What is this?
I need to know.
Yeah, I was
more.
like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
The first thing I ever saw in wrestling was my dad showed me he had taped the pay-per-view because he was one of those dads where when he figured out like how to tape things off the TV,
You gotta
he
tape
thought he
everything.
was a fucking wizard and like just anything that could have been recorded.
It was
The
recorded.
commercials got him.
I probably have gold somewhere, like if they still exist, just in the commercials, because the commercials alone of that era were
Terrifying.
amazing.
Yeah.
But the first thing I saw was the Owen Hart incident. Yeah, that was
wow.
like, this is wrestling. And I somehow kept
You're
watching
like,
it.
cool.
This is wrestling.
This happens sometimes.
Yeah. A little
funny.
intense. What are you going to do?
Once you start up there, everything else is smooth sailing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say death is a good
It's a good...
place to start if you're going to
Yeah.
descend.
Just nosedive right back into it.
I really liked The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Especially when the first, 10 minutes, they're looking at each other and they're looking at everyone else. And
that's-
people ate it up.
Forever.
They just looked at each other and looked at the crowd.
for 5 minutes.
And looked at each other again and looked at the crowd. And
Because
then
that's
the
all they
first
could
thing
do.
was like a lockup and then a throwdown.
And they were like...
and they were like freaking out even more because they touched and then they did it again.
I wish people
loved
would
it.
remember that today.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can get away, like, you're entertaining a crowd so much that you can get away with your shtick in the beginning. That's not
Just
like
staring at each other, like
that's not a bad thing. Like
Not at all.
I'm not anywhere near like veteran status or anything to the point where I'm like watching my bumps, but like if I can get away with that and save my wind for like crazier shit later, do you know what I mean?
oh, absolutely.
Like, I wish
know
people
that
would
I've
just
been-
remember that.
I've been told a lot of times that that's actually really important in terms of like storytelling, is waiting as far in as humanly possible to even just like hit the mat. And it's things like that where you just like see how much you can get out of staring at each other and like but it was also obviously such a story and such a
Oh, yeah, there was a build-up. People were like, this is happening. No one ever thought this match could happen, and it's happening.
Yeah.
So they ate that up. Do you need more juice?
ASMR.
You know what that means.
You're right. Make sure it's well blended.
You really like shaking that.
Wait, one more time.
Okay. I'll wait.
Okay,
Good.
it's ready. Say when.
What if I just never say when? Like it just overflows. So I'm just like,
Katie's just picking up more orange juices like from the floor. It just keeps pouring.
When?
Like they never end.
Oh. I
When?
totally heard you say when.
and then I'm just like, when,
Still
Katie?
going.
And you're just like, Ellie.
Still
Yeah, you
going.
idiots
When?
almost did your
When?
own bit without trying, just not paying attention.
And then we pour it onto the plate.
By the way, fuck, these are delicious.
Yeah, these are really
These are
good.
so good. Oh my god, you don't understand. I haven't had since the gluten and dairy free thing. I like can't like eat anything like this.
So you're just like,
So I was literally prepared to just come here with like, oh, I got some eggs.
woo.
Eggs are good. I was telling you we need like a full breakfast spread.
Yeah, I was gonna
With
say. I mean,
bacon.
I was expecting maybe
eggs.
like some sides to go with my meal.
There's
but
powdered sugar.
Side of powdered sugar.
I mean, there's spoons.
unless it's bacon flavored powdered sugar, it's all right.
Okay, but
Have you
that
ever had
would.
candied bacon?
Oh my god,
I've had chocolate covered bacon.
I don't like that shit.
It's okay,
Yeah, it's
but
alright.
like
Mm-mm.
it's not something I'm gonna eat all the time.
There's like
Not just
certain,
casually.
and like I'm a professional fat kid, and there's like certain things though, like that just should not come to fruition. Like the first time I bit into a deep fried Oreo, I was like, "This is gonna kill somebody.
I love deep fried Oreos.
This is gonna kill
Oh
somebody."
my god!
I ate
Yeah.
deep fried Oreos
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, they're delicious, but it's because they're literally a heart attack
Yeah,
in your
it's true.
hand, and they sell them in. You get 3 when you
Yeah.
go to fucking Kennywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ate them at Kennywood yesterday, and I ate them and then walked around like that might have been the end of my life, but
But
Yeah.
You
it
know.
was so good. What did I say earlier? If I'm gonna die of something, it'd probably be me eating.
yeah,
But I
I
died
died-
happy.
yeah.
I died happy. So it's all good.
my mom once got she has a deep fryer, and when she first got her deep fryer, we made deep fried Oreos, and I ate like 12, threw up, and then just went to bed.
I thought I was gonna have like a happy ending.
No.
Like I ate 12,
And
threw
I
up,
just ate
and
so
went to
many
bed.
that I threw up, and then I went to bed.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.